So Diddy has rejected a plea deal and he wants to take this thing all the way to trial. And it's my opinion, my thoughts that he just wants to show the world that what the world believes of him is not an accurate description of who he is. Because at this point, if he were to just accept the plea deal, he would be admitting guilt. By definition, you're admitting guilt. And there's a lot that Diddy is facing right now. As a matter of fact, I just read in an article that the conspiracy charge carries a minimum sentence of life in prison. And then the sex trafficking charge is like a minimum sentence of 15 years to life in prison. So it's not looking good for Diddy. If Diddy loses his trial, he's gone. He's out of here for good. I'm saying they're gonna give him life, multiple like he's gone. His life is over. His whole image is over already. Basically, like you can't really go anywhere without somebody saying no Diddy or calling him the diddler, or the memes are crazy, the jokes are crazy. And I made a video about this some time ago, and I said that I wasn't really for all of the memes and all of the jokes about Diddy, because at the end of the day, this is still a man with a family. This is still a man with loved ones out here. You know what I'm saying? A very respected, well, at the time, before all this nonsense happened, he was a very respected individual, not only in, hip hop, but in music in general and entertainment in general. You know what I'm saying? So this whole Diddy thing is wild, super wild. And let me just say, like, I don't really get into, what another person does in their bedroom, as long as everything is consensual. Now, what they're saying in this trial is that a lot of it wasn't consensual. And there's been cases of, I believe, a male bodyguard came out and said something against Diddy. And, we all seen the footage with him, you know, uh, putting his hands and feet on Cassie at the hotel, and then there was the whole thing about him, trying to hide the video or paying the hotel to not release the video. It's just crazy work. But anyways, like I said, he rejected the plea deal. And honestly, I mean, what else is he supposed to do? If he were to accept it, he would be admitting guilt. He would still do some time in prison, and his career would be completely over, which is it basically is now. But I think that he's holding on to the fact that if he somehow wins this trial, he will be redeemed. He'll face no prison time. All of the people that talk crap about him and all of the, the companies and organizations that dropped him would have to, you know what I'm saying? They would have to eat crow. But at this point in time, I feel like the damage has been done already. What do you guys think? The damage, once somebody says something about you in today's society, it's out there forever. And all of the charges that Diddy is facing right now, you know what? One thing sticks in my head. The one thing that stands out to me is that video of him and Cassie. That video of him and Cassie really did a number. They put that out there to paint a picture of him and to get, you know, the public on their side, to make the public believe that Diddy is a very bad character. And I'm not gonna lie, like it did the job. It did the job, because no matter what we're talking about here, I don't think anybody can watch that video and be like, yeah, that made sense. Or like, yeah, I'm on Diddy's side with that one. You know what I'm saying? Of course not. Like, that was crazy what he did to Cassie. And about this whole sex trafficking thing and the conspiracy and the freak offs, one thing that I don't like is people equate, oh, he's having freak offs to something criminal. Having a freak off is not necessarily criminal. Now, it's necessarily criminal if the people involved in the freak offs were not aware that they were in the freak offs, or they were not down with the freak offs. They did not give their consent. Now, if that's the case, then that's a whole nother case. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what it is, then it's wild. But honestly, I've been hearing stories about Diddy for so long now that I kind of put it to the back of my brain, like, y'all just talking mess. Y'all just talking mess. So many people had said things about Diddy, and I was just like, nah, until all this came out. And, it's wild. It's like, oh my God, were they right? Did all of these industry people and celebrities know about Diddy this whole time, and they just didn't say anything until all this bubbled up? That's wild. That's wild. Let me know. Did you guys hear anything about Diddy? Like, have you been hearing stories about Diddy and the freak offs and, the allegations and all that stuff for years? Because I have, but I just always never paid attention to it because I'm like, oh, those are just rumors. They're just stories. They just hating on Diddy. And then all of this came out. It's completely wild. But, you know, through it all, I'm very confused. It's crazy to know that so many of our legends in the music industry and in hip hop in general have been taken down, have been involved in some heinous activities. It's crazy. It's crazy. But one thing I don't get down with is I don't like when people try to make Diddy out to be the devil. Like he started all of this because who taught Diddy? How can Diddy be the devil? And how did he? So he's just the worst person in the world? I don't believe that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a good person. I'm just saying that he didn't start this. Somebody taught him. This is more of an indictment of a system that has been allowed to continue like this versus just an indictment of one individual or just a couple of bad apples. And those are just my thoughts on this. So, like I said, Diddy has rejected his plea. He plans to take this one all the way to the bank, all the way to trial. And it's do or die at this point. It's do or die. His legacy is basically already tarnished. But if he can somehow win this trial, I think that he would save face at least a little bit. And if he comes out clean, he comes out clean. And what are we gonna say? What are we gonna say at that point? They should have locked him up. I bet you a lot of people. I bet you a lot of people are gonna say that they should have just locked him up. That's what a lot of people said about Michael Jackson, even though he won all of his cases. People still talk trash about Michael Jackson. Honestly, that was one case that I didn't believe because I just didn't believe it. I just didn't believe it. He won all of his cases. One of the guys that actually, I guess testified against Michael actually took his life after the fact. He felt so bad about it. It was just crazy. There's a lot more to that story than just what's on the, what I'm saying, surface level. But that's neither here nor there. Diddy, what do you guys think about this situation? Do you think that he should have accepted some kind of plea deal, or do you think he should just take this one all the way to trial? And I guess, what do you guys think about him and all of the allegations? Have you guys been hearing things through the years? Do you think he's guilty? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, remember, be kind, rewind, love, peace, and light. Love more than you hate. And I'll see you on the next one. All right? I'm out.